adoption of the agenda.
Move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval of the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the minutes from our April 11th meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the April 11th meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No audience. It's good to see no incidents during this period. And then also noted the electric productions went 6 years with no recordables. Congratulations on that. Administration services trending well with 1 year. With that, we'll go into reports. Grant, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I do have a couple of action items this morning. The first one being, we would like to enter into a service agreement with an engineering firm to perform professional engineering services as required on future and current water and wastewater projects. All the services will have set hourly rates. We did send it out to 30 engineering firms. We had 8 responses, and after conferring with Travis and Eric, we kind of came up with what we've considered our best case. So my recommendation at this time is a motion to request the City Council to authorize the mayor to sign a master service agreement with Burns and McDonald to provide water and wastewater engineering design services.
Did they give you an hourly rate yet, or they quoted, or is it?
It's listed in their RFP.
Is that who we used last year?
That's who we had been using for water and wastewater.
I make a motion to request the city council to authorize the mayor to sign a master services agreement with the Burns and McDonald's to provide water and wastewater engineering and design services.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to request the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a master services agreement with Burns and McDonald to provide water and wastewater engineering and design services. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, gentlemen. My second action item is in January, the board approved Burns and McDonald to provide engineering services to update the water distribution master plan. We need to update this so we can add projects and to the owner supervised plan. We have received the task order for that. My recommendation is a motion to approve task order number 6 to update the water distribution master plan for a not to exceed price of $146,800.
When was the last time we had a master plan?
So we used to update it when we did the OSP, so it's been over 5 years now.
Any idea what it cost last time we did?
They were lumped together
Okay.
last time.
So with approval of this, that'll let us start to work on the design for the main from the water works, where
Yes.
we've talked about.
That's included. They're going to do some studies to see if it needs to be upsized or was it having a repair or replacement.
Okay, I think the other thing we wanted to look at was if we were, replace that one section where we've had the problem, if we can upsize that area and, tie a 20 into a 12. I know that was one thing we wanted to find out if that's acceptable. Okay.
Were we talking about relocating that too?
Yeah. Yeah. By getting out of that area.
This looks at the whole system and identifies other projects that.
Correct. It'll add several main replacement projects, and they'll already be approved by DNR, so we don't have to go back to DNR. They'll be in there when we just do it.
I'd make a motion to approve task order number 6 to update the water distribution system master plan for a not to exceed price of $146,800.
Have a motion and a second to approve task order number 6 to update the water distribution system master plan for a not to exceed price of $146,800. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, gentlemen. Just a couple of completed the sawing on College Street. We plan to break ground as soon as the weather breaks. And we still haven't received the sewer jetter yet. I called yesterday and it's still in Iowa in testing. Other than that, that's all I have unless the board has any questions.
I guess just one thing, with municipal services, they've got their street program, they're starting to work on that. They're gonna make, prepay. Have you talked, I guess, with Randy to make sure we don't have any conflicts?
I have, and we did catch a couple streets before they redid them. I had given him a list for all of the projects, probably for the next 5 to 8 years, that we used grant money on, that we have projects that we know we have the
But we
material.
know we're gonna do the work.
So I have given him a list of those projects as well.
Good. Thank you. Anything more for Grant? No, thank you, Grant. Doug, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I don't have any updates to what's in the packet, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Anything for Doug? None? Move on. Jim, good morning. Thank you, Doug.
Morning.
A couple of comments, not in the packet. We've been spending a lot of time doing locates the last 2 months or so. Costs have changed a whole bunch of their goals. We've been, one truck's been busy about 2 days every week doing locates. And in addition to that, MoDOT's apparently changing the way they're doing highway permits, so that might slow things down or cause a lot more growing for Cody to do for us. Other than that, there's progress map included and not much else to add. It's in fact,
Did you get your new trailer?
it's here, actually, it's listed as 18 foot, but it seems like it's more like 20 feet, so,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's here.
Anything else?
This map's on the website, isn't it? Just-
That particular map, I don't think is.
I mean, I know we get project updates for.
Yeah, we can put that map on the website, but I don't believe it would use right now.
Be good to have it on there, yeah.
That one changes so often. I give you guys an update about every 2 months, but it changes about every day, so.
Nothing more for Jim? Thank you, Jim. Morning, Eric.
Morning.
Morning.
I don't have anything to add to what I have in the packet, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
What's our risk without operating with that blower? There's 3 up there, isn't there?
Yeah, so we still have 2 operating, and the third one was back up to rotate. So with the 2 blowers operating, we're still doing fine.
If we
It's just
lost,
not having that backup blower.
if we lost another one and we were down to 1, could we still?
We can still run with 1 blower. We just have to switch some things around, but we'd still be able to.
And are you hearing anything back from them on lead time? What's going on?
So they gave me a price, and it was gonna be right around 190,000. I'm working with the rep to see if we can get that price down. And I've also met with the insurance adjuster and the cause investigator as well, so we're moving along through that project.
Any preventative things we should look at on the others to make sure that doesn't happen?
We've been on the service part of it. That was, like I said, that was the bearing on the electric motor. Talking with some people, I think that motor probably should have tripped out before it got that bad. Once the amps or the thermal alarm, like Steve would probably know a little better than me. So we're trying to look into that as well to make sure that doesn't happen with the other 2.
Yeah.
Probably need to put some tip sensors on those bearings. Try to catch them before they get that hot. Because a bad bearing won't necessarily trip your motor out if the motor's still going. Doesn't pull those amps, it's not going to trip it out. So there's some other pieces we can add to it to protect them a little bit. That might be something. Might ask your rep to look into on any kind of bearing sensors or vibration sensors
Yeah.
that they can put on there.
I'll make sure to ask them about that.
I'm sure it'll be a nice cost, but beats burning a motor in a whole
Yeah.
water.
Yes.
Did it get into the conductors at all, or is it just the
It's on
motor?
fire.
It pretty well burnt that whole enclosure up.
Okay, so you're probably new conductors as well.
It's barbecue.
Stinks too, doesn't it? It's a nasty smell.
Thank you, Eric. Travis, good morning.
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 Don't really have anything else to add other than what's in the packet, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Truck running well now?
Well, the weather hasn't cooperated, of course, so we haven't got to try it out. Some of them that looked at it, it's lined a lot better than what previously was, so.
It doesn't make near the noise when you turn it on as it did.
I think you guys took it out and just kind of drove it around.
Ran around here for 20, 30 minutes. And originally, when you turned it on, it slammed. And it doesn't do that now.
Great. Thank you, Travis. Jared, good morning.
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 We've run Unit 6 a couple of times since we started it back up. It's run well every time. We did have a few small oil leaks there at first, which was expected. We got those taken care of. And we were going to test it on diesel, but we're kind of waiting and working with MOPEP to find a cost-effective time to do that. The crew arrived last week for installing the new baler in the recycle center. Took them about 2 days to put it in, and it's been working well. A little bit of a learning curve there, but the baler itself seems to be working real well. And that's all I got, unless you got any questions.
Better than what you had, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, yep.
Did they take the old one out?
They did. They took it out and they took it back to Ohio,
Okay.
and they're gonna sell it for us.
Anything else for Jared? Thank you, Jared. Megan, good morning.
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 I'm not going to add what's in my packet. I would also like to commend electric production though on going 6 years. That's a great accomplishment. And congratulations to administrative services on 1 year as well. But I would be happy to answer questions.
I was just, this one bullet point under miscellaneous about recent updates by Employee Navigator to the BN admin software resulted in some issues. What is, can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that?
So Employee Navigator is the web-based software platform that folks go to review their health insurance benefits, and they can submit changes on there. Say if a spouse changes jobs and loses insurance, they need to be added here or something like that. Or change beneficiaries, basically everything benefit related. And GIS Benefits is the broker that basically sets all that up and works with us to administer that. But the Employee Navigator, the company, they made some updates on the back end that it just kind of goofed up some of our settings. I think anybody that has a laptop at home experiences that from time to time. So until we had some folks get in there and try to submit them things, we didn't realize it had kind of screwed up effective dates for coverages and things like that. So I had to work with GIS Benefits to get all of that set back to how our plans are designed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's corrected or?
Yes, it's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. And it wasn't anything I couldn't manipulate and keep correct, but those were extra steps I shouldn't have needed to be doing, wouldn't have had to do 3 months ago. So, until the update, new and improved.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't have employees that got their tenure date changed? or
No,
anything
no,
like that?
nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was limited to just not identifying the right, you tell it the date of the life event, whether it was a job change or baby being born or whatever, and it wasn't calculating effective dates of coverage off of that life event date correctly. We just had to fix that.
Thank you.
A lot of places use Navigator.
Yeah,
For HR, it's common.
it's really, I'm really pleased with it overall.
I can't imagine trying to do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Department.
cut out so much paper for us. It's a really nice system.
Anything else for Megan? Thank you, Megan. Tony?
Morning.
Morning.
You'll see in there that have the financials, kind of summaries for the second quarter, so we're halfway through the fiscal year. You can see there on our total revenues, we're at 53%, and total expenses were at 47%. Obviously, the water, when we were budgeting, I might have mentioned this one in the first quarter summary, but when we were budgeting, we weren't really sure, we were anticipating to get some DNR money there at the end of the fiscal year, and we didn't get it till November, so that's why our revenues are so high, showing there at 91%. Broadband, that's just, we budgeted for grant money, so a big portion of that revenue will be grant money, we just slowly getting that in, so, but overall, everything I think looks pretty in line, nothing outstanding that I recognized. On the cash reserve summary, our cash is growing, which is a good thing. I think we were up $900,000 in cash from the first quarter, and I think we're up 2.6 from the beginning of the year, fiscal year, which a lot of that obviously is related to getting reimbursed for grant money that we were anticipating. I think we're going to be pretty close to hitting, I think, in all departments. Our water and sewer still, you can see there's quite a bit of difference there. That's just that 5-year capital outlay, so we're continuing to look at that. Restricted cash, you can see there that we've been putting $5,000 a quarter into the economic development fund there. Really, there's no changes. We still do show money in the genset funds there. I think the invoices you see from Ethos, that's the final payment, so we're going to be done with that, which is a good thing. On the loan balances there, water department, that's scheduled to be paid off in full March of next year, so we're getting close to that one.
When's the HAB Center scheduled to be paid off?
I think September of 27 or 28, I think.
Okay.
Chuck. Other than that, on the budget reporting stuff there, you can see it kind of gives more of a detail. Nothing really stood out. You'll see the goal obviously is to try to be around 50%. We're a little high in some. The utilities you'll notice are kind of always high, and that's just because of the time of the year. Those bills will drop in half here in May, going forward the rest of the year. Obviously, look down there under water, under maintenance. Travis had mentioned there that our well maintenance from last year got carried over into this year, so that's why we're showing 81%, because we're basically going to have two years of well maintenance in this year. Other than that, there really isn't anything too concerned about. You can see there that under supplies and sewer, here in March, we had our lime and polymer delivered, which it basically took up 80% of almost 100% of those budgeted line items, so that's why it's showing a little higher there than normal. But if you guys like to have any questions or concerns, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to try to answer.
Yeah, I was just glad to see we're kind of creeping up on cash reserves.
Yeah.
I saw the same thing, 900,000 up from quarter one. Yeah.
And that doesn't have an electric, we got that, the insurance reimbursement, that's not in here, so that was in April, so yeah, I think we're trending in the right direction. Like I said, sewer are the only ones that are just kind of like, well, those are gonna be challenging. I mean, Eric's got the filter building scheduled out there, capital, and obviously Travis has future projects that are impacting those numbers. But something else that we've talked about looking to is getting a more detailed idea on sewer main and I&I, kind of, are those reserves where they really need to be, or are they inflated? You know, we have 3.1 million in those two funds, so.
I was gonna ask about I&I, I mean, is there a plan to utilize those funds?
Well, I think we're getting with Grant, trying to work with a plan of what we really want to do. You know, if we want to try to look at a 5-year capital outlay on I&I and sewer main, you know, do we really only need $1 million in those funds for the next 5 years, and then maybe moving some of that money over into help with Eric's filter building. So to try to eliminate the need for a rate increase is what we're trying to do there. So me and Jeff have been looking at it, and like obviously we'll work with Grant on that when we get closer to that, but it is something that we continue to look at.
If you take those grant funds out of water, USDA money, is that what that was?
For water, DNR,
DNR, if you take those out of this fiscal year, are we on track with revenues and water?
we are, yeah. And we still have, I think, we're at 3.1, we still have another 800,000 of grant DNR money coming to us there. I did get all the vendor information back to DNR, paperwork. He was supposed to let me know today, because I was like, hey, because we submitted, I think, almost 300,000 that's on hold until we get this vendor paperwork back to him. So I reached out to him yesterday to see if we needed to resubmit that or where we were at. So he's gonna just meet with his boss today, and they're supposed to let me know. So hopefully we'll start submitting some DNR reimbursement here soon for water mains.
What did it look like when you were updating costs on unit 6 to 11? I mean,
Well, so me and Jared had a meeting with Ethos Friday, and we had, this was the final invoice. I think Jared's worked with them as far as they cut back some things due to their error. But I think overall, what we were projecting for purchase orders were about $500,000 less than what we thought we were gonna be. So I think we were gonna end up at like 3.6 versus 4.1, 4.2, so it was nice to hear that.
that's good to know.
And I've got everything ready to submit. Obviously, after the board approves these disbursements, I'll get that to insurance to get the updated reimbursement that we're due on that. So.
Well, thanks for pulling all that together.
Sure.
Anything else for Tony? Thank you, Tony. Megan, looks like you're take care of Jeff's.
Yes, Jeff does have an action item there related to the sale of the old pipe yard property for the generation site development. That replat was approved and he got that recorded last week, so we're ready to move forward with selling the property to the Missouri Electric Commission. So he's got a recommendation in there for a motion to approve the sale of the MMU property replatted as MOPEP 1 addition to the MEC for $40,000.
Make a motion to approve the sale of the MMU property replatted as the MOPEP 1 addition to the Missouri Electrical Commission for $40,000.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the sale of the MMU property replatted as the MOPEP 1 addition to the Missouri Electric Commission for $40,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Looks like MMU's got the first right of refusal to purchase it back, which I probably won't be around for that. And I also thought I saw maybe an email that the phase 2 turbines had been ordered.
Yes.
Is that right? Good. All right. Yeah, have we taken possession of the Crescent Electric building?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
We did transfer the money into escrow, we're just waiting on, I think, some signatures.
Okay. All right, thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
There's our purchase power sheet. And I think we're ready for cash disbursements.
Stamp that ethos check, final payment.
Ray Lindsay's, that's the last one of them too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
we're getting some things closed out finally.
I move we approve cash disbursements.
Second?
Have a motion and a second for the approval of cash disbursements. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other business? Next meeting is, so we're going to Wednesdays. We're gonna be meet every Wednesday rather than every Thursday. We made that change. So the next one will be Wednesday, May the 14th, 2025. That work for everyone? Okay. So we'll adjourn, consider a motion for executive session for personnel matters.
I move we recess and go into executive session. Ken Bryant, yes.
Have
Steve Mills, yes. Steve Mills, yes.
Chuck Hines, yes. We're adjourned.